The largest provider of mental health and addiction services in the United States is the jails and the prisons. That's the number one problem right now. Some people belong in jail, others don't. And because of lack of funding and lack of services, there's a lot of people that are sitting in jails who are in mental health and addiction crisis that continue to cycle in and out because they're not getting the help. Well, there's very little to anything in jail except two hots and a cot. And a lot of times what happens in jail is somebody who is in a mental health crisis they're decompensating because they're in a situation where they don't feel safe, and on top of that, they're not getting their meds. So they're going through withdrawals now, and then they're released to the streets. So they're in a worse mental health state than they were when they went into jail, and they've lost money, and then probably their jobs a lot of times, and they're put back into society in a worse state than they were when they were brought in a few days ago. It's the definition of insanity.
I spent most of my life on the south side of Chicago growing up. And it wasn't a walk in the park. And I was about 4th grade. I was hanging out with some friends. I was hanging out with my brothers and some friends. And we was throwing rocks at passing cars on the boulevard. And the police saw that and they decided to chase us. So we ran and we hid out in a van in an alley, and that's what started the marijuana. Me not knowing, I was the youngest. I was like 9. Really didn't know what being high was or what it felt like, but I knew I smoked weed for the first time. High school, ended up going to Hyde Park Academy. Unfortunately, I get jumped on very bad, and I have a traumatic brain injury. I was in a coma for about a month and a half. I basically was dead. The doctors were going to pull the plug because I didn't have any insurance. I wake up in the hospital, psychiatrist is like sitting next to me. It's like she almost knew I was about to wake up. She wake up, she said, "Hey Lamar, you know where you are?" No. She said, "What's your last memory?" I said, "I was playing football." So she said, "You were attacked." I'm like, "Attacked?" She said, "Yeah, someone tried to kill you, da-da-da-da." She gave it to me flat like that. Doctors tell me now, you're gonna have feelings of anxiety, depression, and stuff like that. Try your best not to lean to drugs. Find something to do in your spare time, read, gym, stuff like that. But where I come from, and how we learn to balance the difficulties in life, we turn to drugs and alcohol. And unfortunately, that's what I did. I moved here thinking that that moving away would make things better, but I brought my trauma, brought everything that I've been through with me here, and it kind of affected my relationship and relationships that I've grown with people here. So when I go to support my family for my auntie's passing, I get back here, they tell me my little cousin passed from leukemia, and then I get a call from my job. I lose my job from not requesting the bereavement from my auntie's funeral. I go outside, have a couple drinks, smoke a little marijuana, smoke a little weed, boom, get caught. OWI number 4. I go to jail. I wake up, I'm in jail. They talk to my attorney. He tells me they can give you a small prison term. And at this time that he's telling me this, I'm already in there 3 months. I'm calling my girlfriend. She's telling me she's crying. We're homeless at this time. We're house hopping. All we have is what we have in our car. You can go to jail. Judge Ellen Burrs, that was my judge. She was going to send me to prison. She say, but I'm not going to do that. She asked about my son. She say, if you don't get your stuff together, knowledge is going to be sitting in that same seat, standing up, standing in front of the same judge. And when I tell you, it hit something. It hit a nerve. I ended up getting out in August. Went to the halfway house, picked up a job a week later. I ended up reaching out to some social workers in the jail. While I was in jail, I was working and everything, and they found James, and James was there the next day. When I tell you his spirit, the way he introduced himself, the way he came into my life, it was more so like he was like a mentor, like a support that another manly individual can use, especially coming from the system.
Working at Tellurian has been very fulfilling for a couple reasons, actually. Well, I came here knowing that I can be a part of something bigger, because sobriety, much like addiction, doesn't have a look, a size, a color, or a smell. It's a free opportunity employer. I really felt that if the diversity program was in existence at the time when I was actually in my youth and starting off with the neighborhood stuff, I would not have gone through any of that stuff. I want to be a good father. I want to be a good grandfather. I want to be an outstanding husband. I want to be a good brother, a good son, a good colleague at work. I want to be a strong person for my community.
There's a saying that we use a lot in our field that goes something like this: the more you give, the more you get. And James epitomizes that. He has lived life experiences that he can meet people where they're at and help them through their journey, because he's an inspiration, hope that treatment and mental health and addiction really does work, and he can be a beacon of light for many of our folks that we are seeing here at Tellurian that are coming from the jails. We're unique because we have medical doctors, psychiatrists, addictionologists. We're able to prescribe medications. Our master's degree counselors are certified both in mental health and addiction. We actively try to hire, retain, and recruit minority staff members so we can match the needs of our clients. And we take big time pride in trying to reach people where they're at and wrapping a treatment around them individually so we have a greater success and our outcomes are so much better.
Especially as a young individual coming from where I came from, not having that support from my father or a father figure in my life, for James to come around and come and be a support to another from brother to brother, like knowing how the background is, knowing where we come from the same grounds, like just being there really helps me and motivates me to be a better man. So moving forward, now I'm working, I'm at home, cut my friends out from going to church and everything. And when I tell you, blessings just started to come. James is now into my life. My fiance, we communicating better now. We engaged now. I'm a better father to my son. I'm sober now. When I tell you, Tellurian and just James have been a big support of that. When I tell you they have.
The safety of our community is our top priority at our sheriff's office, and by having the appropriate resources in place, like mental health deputies, like embedded crisis workers, and like having partners like Tellurian, it allows us to be great at what we do and provide amazing services to our community. A safer Madison would look like a community in which those who have committed nonviolent crimes have an opportunity to remain in the community while being held accountable for their actions, while having the opportunity to rehabilitate, but also building themselves back up. We all go through different trials and tribulations throughout our lives, and we want to make sure that we can balance accountability with public safety. And as the Dane County Sheriff, I can assure you we can do both. And this jail diversion program is one of the ways that we can do that.
I can't tell you enough how important it is that Tellurian receives donations. We are so appreciative of the support that we've got because we are able to keep programs around that otherwise we would not. Government and insurance companies do not keep the lights on for us and our doors open. We are appreciative of the donations that we get, but we need more because our waiting lists are so long and there's so many people that aren't able to come into our continuum of care, and the more people can give, the more we can give and help others. And this very unique program is something that is really making a difference in the lives of African Americans who are sitting in jails that otherwise would not be making it into treatment. Now, because of your support, we are able to, through the good works of James and the partnership with Calvin Barrett and the Sheriff's Department, we are able to break these barriers down and help folks that desperately need mental health and addiction services and really make a difference in people's lives.
Taking advantage of a program like the diversion program, it will actually save lives.